Grab a seat. Come. You remember that there was a time Sarah sent Hagar out of the house when she got pregnant at first. And she said Hagar insulted her, so she sent her out. But the angel of the Lord told Hagar to come back and be submissive to her madam. She came back. She was submissive, I believe. And she gave birth to her son. Ishmael stayed there for 13 years. Okay, we remember that he was circumcised at 13 years, meaning that he lived there for 13 years. And Sarah did not say push them out again, because I want to believe that Hagar was still submissive to her all those years. And so they allowed her stay. But immediately Sarah had her own son, Isaac, things changed. On the 8th day after he was circumcised and all that thereabout, Sarah now came up with a story. That is in chapter 21 of Genesis, verse 9. But Sarah saw Ishmael, the son of Abraham, and her Egyptian servant Hagar making fun of her son Isaac. That is, she saw Ishmael and his mom making fun of Isaac. Like how were they making fun of a baby? Isaac was still a small child by then, a baby. So how were they making fun of him? See, Sarah's character may not have been that good. If you check how she treated Hagar and everything, you will just know that she was not really perfect as a human being. None of them were perfect in character, because she accepted this woman back. This woman came back, had her child, and stayed 13 years for almost 14 years, and there were no issues. And suddenly she gave birth to her son, and she remembered they were making fun of him. See her main intention in the next verse, verse 10. So she turned to Abraham and demanded, get rid of that slave woman and her son. He is not going to share the inheritance with my son Isaac. I won't have it. Now you see, she came out clear. The main thing she was fighting for was inheritance, not about making fun of her son. So she just wanted to see something to hold on to. They say you give a dog a bad name to kill it. So she just wanted to see something to hold on to. Oh, they were making fun of my son. They're not going to stay here. And then from there, she now swerved into inheritance. They're not going to share inheritance with me and all that. And that was how Abraham was worried. Abraham had to go and ask God, God, please now, see, this woman has started again. She said I should send this one away with my son. How am I going to do it? And what did God tell him? Surprisingly, God told him, listen to your wife, Sarah. A lot of things from this passage. One of them I'm thinking in my head is one, it was Sarah that made him enter that trouble. So when he came to God, God had to send him back to the same person that made him enter the trouble. Let her bring you out of it, right? So since she was the one that came up with the idea of you having something with Hagar, let her also be the one to come up with the idea of you, sending Hagar away. So Abraham sent Hagar out with little food and little water that ran out halfway in their journey, wherever they were going to. They had nowhere to go to. And they got to the wilderness, and Hagar had to just kept her son somewhere as he was crying. She moved further to also cry her own because there was no food, no water. And they were in the wilderness, nowhere to go to, in the midst of forest, nowhere to go to. And then the Bible now said the angel of the Lord spoke to Hagar from heaven and told her, the Lord has heard the cry of your son. Look, and then the Bible opened the eyes of Hagar to see water, and so she drank with her son. And the Bible says God was with him. God was with Ishmael as he was growing. He was an archer, what do they call it? Archer, I think so. Then he grew and he got married to an Egyptian woman. And I think that's that's chapter 21. So someone said, as I analyzed the character of Abraham, I could also analyze the character of Sarah. I may do it someday, but from what I have seen so far, I don't really see Sarah as a very good woman. When it comes to submitting to her husband, following the footsteps of her husband, I think she was good there. But then in treating people, the way she treated people around her, the way she treated Hagar was not so good, if you ask me. If it happened in this present world, that's what I would tell the woman. This is not fair. You told the woman to help you give birth to a child for you and your husband, and she did that. And then all of a sudden you woke up one day because you had your own son, and then you want to send them, and then you sent them out of the house. It's not fair. So what do you think of Sarah's character? What do you think of her person? Yes, we are meant to see her as someone to look up to when it comes to, submitting to husbands. That's what the Bible says, that Sarah called her husband Lord. However, do we have several Abrahams around that we will call Lord? We cannot go and call Pharaoh Lord now. So tell me what you think about Sarah as a person, her character, what you've picked about her. What do you think?